Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we're coming to you with another socially distanced episode of the Mile High Game Guys.
Also known as just recording in our separate places.
Yes, indeed. And as always, our Wednesday episodes continue to be sponsored by Gray Fox Games. So thanks to them for continuing to encourage our nonsense.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
We could technically do it without them, but let's not.
Whoa.
I said technically. Okay, technically.
But yeah, so let's dive into games we played, since I think several of us played actual board games this last week. You know.
Yes.
Last week we didn't, or at least I didn't. I hadn't.
No.
Yeah. Didn't end up getting to do a stream with Megan. We were kind of gonna maybe try to do that, and we still might at some point. We'll see. Work has gotten very, very busy for her, so playing board games
that doesn't seem right.
Whoa.
Yeah. ICU nurse right now. I can't imagine what she'd be busy with.
No. That.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, if she feels up to doing any streams on any of her days off or anything. Yeah.
I'm surprised she has days off.
So far, knock on wood. But even though we didn't stream anything, we did play a couple games, me and her. We did 2 games on 2 separate evenings of Mansions of Madness 2nd Edition, which I just recently bought off of Ryan, generic white guy number 7 on our Slack channel.
Because you had the first edition, right?
Yeah, so I'd previously bought the first edition. Yeah, well, I bought it and had you pick it up.
Yeah.
And that was back when I was under a misconception about the way the conversion kit worked. And I thought that the conversion kit that I also bought would allow you to play 2nd edition app with just the 1st edition box. That was not the case. So I had to wait a while until finally, I vaguely had an eye out for 2nd edition for a while. And then so when Ryan listed it in his big pile of games he sold recently, I snatched it up. But so we got to play it. I meant to look up before we started here what the 2 scenarios I played were. One of them was one of just the base scenarios that comes with Mansions of Madness 2nd edition. And then the other one was like Shattered Mirror or Shattered Realms or something. And it was the second $4.99 DLC that they released. Mm-hmm. I had like $5 in Google opinion reward credits that I used to buy that one. The first one went really well. We definitely played wrong, though, in a way that it did. When we realized we were playing wrong, we started playing right. And we were like, that probably didn't really affect anything. Mm-hmm. But then considering, like, we won, the first mission we did was a 5 difficulty one.
Was that Dearly Departed or Shattered Bonds?
Which one?
They're both 5 out of 5, and they have base game and then base game with 1st edition stuff.
I think maybe Shattered Bonds sounds right.
120 to 180 minutes, or
sure.
120 to 150. Okay.
I don't remember on that one.
Dark Reflections was the DLC one that you were talking about.
Yes. So, but in the first one we played with just each of us controlling one character. So there were 2 characters, and we were doing the mission. And we were amazed that like it didn't feel hard. Like we were having fun, but it was like, wow, this seems easier than I've ever felt like Mansions of Madness has ever been. And then we ended up winning, and we were like, wow, yeah, that was really bizarre. So then when we went to play the Shattered Reflections later,
Dark Reflections.
Shattered
Bonds is what the first one you were playing.
And that must have been what we were playing, and I just combined them. But we were like, I told Megan, I was like, hey, do you want to try playing like 2-handed, where we each control 2 investigators? And she was like, yeah, sure, we could try that. And I was like, well, let me look real quick and see if anybody, like, if there's a recommendation of which way's better. And widely on BGG, people are saying that the less players, the harder it is. and that 4 was the easiest and 2 was by far the hardest, which made us even more confused. We were like, wait, how did it seem so easy that first time we played with 2 players? Well, we played the second game with 4 and with the correct rule that we were messing up, and I think that was entirely the problem. And the rule we were messing up was, because I assume that's what you were about to ask, right, Zach? Yeah. So the rule that we were messing up is
I'm waiting to hear how big a fucking rule this was.
we were taking all damage, mental and physical damage, as face down damage.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, that's not.
Yeah, so it turns out when you do it correctly, so the correct way to play is you only take it face down when it specifically says face down.
Correct.
And so yeah, that made it much easier. Apparently.
That'll do it.
We still had somebody go insane in the 2-player game. Megan's character went insane, but luckily it was like an easy one where it was like she needed to have 2 pieces of unique evidence to like win, but she still won with the normal rules. And then in the second game, we played.
Well, so when you play with just 2 players, you can't get any of the insanities that make you have a different win condition.
Oh,
Like,
I didn't
you
know
can't-
that.
Yes, because you then basically turn traitor, which I was going to say, I hope nobody had to do that during the 2-handed one, because that would have made it very awkward.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know how we would have handled that.
My right hand wants us to win, but my left hand really wants us all to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That would have been an interesting conundrum to have tried to solve. But it didn't come up. One of my 2 characters did die. He tried to wrestle the beast at the end. Because the mission, and I won't spoil like the overall game for Dark Reflections. I will recommend against buying it. I thought it was it was nowhere near worth $5. It was such a disappointment in that regard. It had an interesting story, like an interesting like hook from a game perspective, but it just the rest of the game supporting it didn't live up to it. And now, well, now I won't bring up any spoilers, even though I really want to. But yeah, it just ended up feeling very lackluster. And when we got done with it, even though we technically won, we were like, well, that was anticlimactic and unsatisfying in every regard. So was a little bummed by that, but
Gotcha.
It was cool getting to play Mansions of Madness. I do really like the game. Now I'm going to have to start looking out for cheap pickups of all of the rest of the stuff for it.
So I would say, at least for me, my favorite expansion so far has been the Horrific Journeys, which was like the train one and the like blimp one, dirigible.
Okay.
I really liked that one. The other ones are, I would say, unless you get it on a deal, skip Path of the Serpent for right now, because I played it twice,
That's
and
the
both times I was
newest
like,
one, right?
yeah, that was the newest one, and I was like, it's okay. The 3 out of 5 was unbearably easy, so.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No, but Beyond the Threshold is good. Streets of Arkham, the like all the other ones so far have been real good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and have had, they all seem to have like a sort of an intro one, and then a medium hard one, and then a hard one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Aside from Mansions, the only other thing I played is Mile High Dungeon Delvers. We did figure out how to use Zoom and Roll20 to do a full session remotely, and so we streamed episode 5 of Mile High Dungeon Delvers season 2 on Twitch. So you should be able to still catch that over on the Twitch channel if you want to watch it. And we were able to have Leander's roommate, Pattylicious, come back on to play the Desert Rose character. She had previously sat in for me when I went to snowboard on my birthday. So
Gotcha.
It was cool having her back on. So yeah,
That was so long ago. Your birthday.
Yeah.
it was a month ago, and it feels like it was a year ago.
I saw something online that was like, just like basically it was a Twitter thing. It was like, I've been alive for 6 decades: the 80s, the 90s, the aughts, the 10s, the 20s, and March.
Yeah. Yeah, it feels that way. So, but that's what I played. I haven't played anything else. I did buy Tabletop Simulator because it went back on sale. So my procrastination paid off, and I did buy it. So I've taken the first step.
Okay.
But I have not gone any farther than that.
Gotcha.
So, but what about you guys? What have you been playing, Jeff?
I have played a little bit. Got some Blood Bowl in, of course. Nowhere near as much Blood Bowl as before, but still a couple games. I started messing around with Tabletop Simulator and Tabletopia. Someone had posted a video comparing the two on the board game subreddit and was like, Tabletopia is like the official, because everything on Tabletopia is an official release from the publisher, and then Tabletop Simulator is all user-made stuff. So the Tabletopia stuff seems better, and then,
but it's more restrictive.
But yeah, it's more restrictive. Where Tabletop Simulator, you literally have all the tools you need all the time, but you don't need most of them. It's just like there's so much functionality there. So I watched Wes and Boyd and May and Ryan play a game of Arkham Horror LCG on Tabletop Simulator. It was super well put together. I didn't really go through and look at like the deck construction and stuff like that, but everything else looked like it worked extremely well to be able
that
to
one
play
is really well done.
Yeah, someone put in a lot of effort. I looked at the Kingdom Death. There's so many Kingdom Death ones. I kind of went through a couple of them. They seem interesting. I saw that Scribe actually revamped their way to be able to still connect to each other over a VPN. So even if you weren't in the same Wi-Fi network, you could VPN in and remotely connect with the app.
Oh, that's good. That was gonna be my main thing if we ever tried to do Kingdom Death. I was like, I don't know if I'd want to play without Scribe, and we couldn't really do it before that.
Yeah,
so that sounds good that they fixed it.
I haven't really looked at it, but it seems like if you use a VPN, you can connect with Scribe all on the same thing, which would help the Tabletop Simulator version a lot, because then you only really need the board.
Yeah.
Because everyone's can do and the dice, so everyone can see what the hell's getting rolled. After that, I started playing some games. I played a little bit of Architects of the West Kingdom solo. I kind of read through the rules because we only had that demo at Gen Con. I just played a round or two to see how it was. The solo mode is not as fun as playing with other people. Then I saw they had a ton of Kickstarter stuff on there, like Kickstarter games that aren't released yet, that just were recently on Kickstarter, like the mind management game that we talked about a couple weeks ago. That's on Tabletopia, along with like a ton of other Kickstarter stuff, like the Vampire Masquerade board game, which I did play through an entire scenario. It was just like a little solo prologue thing to see how combat goes. It uses D10s. You get your abilities to add to the success, and then you just fight against this like soldier that killed your brother before you turned into a vampire, and it's like, oh no, he's a vampire. But it was one of those dumb things where like you win the battle, but you lose the story. Like, oh, you killed him, but no, he's fine, and then he kills you. And I was just like, well, that was stupid. But the mechanics were interesting. After that, I played some Cartographers in Tabletopia, and it is extremely well done. I really liked it. It has little tiles. I posted a picture of it on our Slack that I played after I played. So you draw the cards, just as always, and then you have 6 bags that have the different types of terrain, and then you use your mouse wheel to like pick up as many as you need. Then you put them on your board, and then you can put them in whatever order you want, because they're just little 1x1 squares, and then you make the little polyominoes out of that. Of course, you have to score your own stuff. There's no automation to any of these programs, so you have to know how to score. It was my first time playing solo, which it did the monsters pretty interesting. There's little boxes on the monster cards, because normally you pass your thing to the left or right, and your opponents will draw wherever they want on there. But in solo mode, they start at a corner based on the card, and then they sort of move down or left or up, depending on the arrow direction, and then they just take up the first spot they can. And
so you can't necessarily game it,
no,
but it allows it to sort of automate it itself in its own way.
yeah, it's not peak dickishness with with where you can normally put them, because it's always going to be on an edge and not in like the middle or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And then the solo mode, there's like little stars in the bottom right of every scorecard. I guess that sort of rates how easy it is to score whatever those are. So you get your total score, and then you subtract the total of all 4 objective cards. So I scored 111, but then my final score was 22 after all of the objectives were negated from my score.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's like some sort of like difficulty thing.
Yeah.
They'll be like, well, it's easy to score a lot on this one, so we're gonna raise it up. How was 22 for a solo score?
Very good. I think it was like 5 out of 6 on the score ranking. Like 30 plus is the like best.
Gotcha.
And I think that was it for my my board game playing online. I look forward to dipping into more of the Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator, especially because Tabletopia, it has like a lot of premium stuff on there, so you don't really have access to everything. But it's a subscription service, so it's $10 a month, and you can get full access to it. There is like daily or weekly subscriptions you can get too. But the best part is you only need one person to have that subscription, and then that unlocks whoever you're playing with that content. So only one person has to pay. So you can play with whoever you want, really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right on. Zach, what about you? What have you played?
So I've basically only really played one board game, and that was earlier today. May, Wes, and I were wanting to play Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, and I think she had heard it from the actual podcast of saying that I wanted to play it. And so she's like, when are we going to play it? And we were trying to figure out a good time for us to do it, and Sunday morning was the only real time that we could devote the 3 or so hours to play it. But originally we were just going to be doing the base game because there are like 4 or 5 different Arkham Horror 3rd Editions on Tabletop Simulator, and the closest we had to anything with expansion was one promo character. But I looked this morning, and I just did a search for it right before I was going to boot up my regular copy, and then it's like Arkham Horror 3rd Edition with expansion. And I was like,
nice.
Well, that was convenient.
Yeah.
And I opened it up, and it was just like any of the other ones, except it had the expansion material in it. And so we played one of the expansion scenarios, Silence of Testhoga, or whatever his name is.
Okay.
I would say I butchered it, but it's like not unbutcherable, I guess.
Right.
So we did 3 players of it, and it was we were keeping everything, like we were doing a good job for like the first 2/3 of it. Like we were keeping Doom down. We were trying to not have anomalies pop up. We were killing enemies whenever we had the chance. And then unfortunately, I was on one side of the map, and then we had like 2 Doom. And the next card basically said, whenever you get 3 Doom on the scenario sheet, flip this over. And Wes drew Wes or May drew a gate burst from the Mythos Cup, and it was a Uptown, which had just turned into an anomaly, so that was an instant 3 Doom onto the scenario sheet that flipped it.
That's some Arkham Horror ass shit there.
Yeah, right. And and then how this thing is basically set up is like it's sort of like a triangle with 2 2 more districts on each of the other triangle sides, but then once you flip over to 5, you destroy the bridge in between like the connecting part of the triangle, so it becomes this giant V, and I was on the wrong side of the V, and I was also the combat guy, and everybody else was not combat related, and that's where all the enemies were. And it was like, oh no, this has gone badly really quickly. And then on the next turn we had a Doom go down on Uptown, and then another gate burst on Uptown, and so that caused 4 more Doom to go on there. So basically in 2 turns we went from like 2 Doom to 9 Doom, and 9 Doom is when the big bad appears and he starts chomping up on everything. And so I was right near him, so I just started being like, all right, well, I'm just gonna start attacking him because there's really nothing else I can do. And they both had intervene spells, which are basically when I'm attempting a test, which combat is a test, they can intervene and give you testers or add their test results to yours, and so they were helping like pump up my damage. But like the first time I rolled, I only did 1 damage, I didn't do any damage, and Wes added 1 to it. And then the next time, so he had like 20 health to go through, and he was slowly chomping his way up each of the different neighborhoods because as he moves, he basically devours or destroys anything that was behind him. And we had another gate burst, so that it caused another 3 a 3 movement for him. So
Yes.
we were doing really good to like, oh shit, and then on the next turn, May ended up dying because she had to, her ability was called, like, she had one of these talents that were like once per turn when she does something, she can have her a different investigator do the same thing that she was doing. And she has a talent that says you can do the same action that you've already done this round. And so you can actually use those in combinations. So she is choosing the action. So like say I attack and then she goes and she does that action that lets her do an action that she had already done. She can choose me and then I can attack twice or move twice or any of those other things. So we're just trying to wail on him, and then she ended up dying, and she came in with the mobster, I forget his name, but the guy with the Chicago typewriter and the car, and basically like unfortunately, like, this game doesn't say that you can't keep adding new investigators like Eldritch does or Mansion does.
Right.
Well, Mansion, you just, once your guy dies, that's it. But in Eldritch, if your guy dies after the big bag's been revealed, then that's it. It says you're devoured, and that's it, right?
Mhm.
But so she chose this character, and he was at 13 health, and we needed to do, or he was at we had done 13 damage to him, and we needed to do 7 more damage. So we basically had her start where the original the Orin library was still around, luckily, so she was able to start there. And she basically drove her car into him, did 2 damage, and she was when you attack him, it's at -3 strength, which is fucking ridiculous. But she was rolling 8, and so she was rolling 5 dice, and I was just like, May, I just want to let you know, if you roll 5 dice and you get 5 successes right now, this will be the most badass thing I've ever seen in this entire game. Of like, she just appears out of nowhere, drives the car, and just mows down this giant old one. But she only did 3 successes, but it was still fine. But then 2 more Doom got added onto the sheet, and so he moved 2 more spaces, and so he was on the street right before Old Town, and if he got to Old Town, we would lose. And so he was just, if he had, when I was drawing from the cups, if I drew a Doom or a Gate Burst, we would lose, or a Headline, and luckily I drew 2 clues, and we were able to do 2 more damage and stop him. So in the victory card, it basically says, like, there's some of Arkham that's destroyed, but you're able to salvage. And we're like, pretty much everything except for these 3 buildings is completely fucked. But we did it, guys. So it was a very, very narrow victory on that, but it was real fun. Tabletop Simulator worked really well for that. It's a couple days before that, May and I figured out like the best way to like grab the cards, the top 2 cards from each deck, shove them together and put them back on the card, or grabbing the bottom card of a deck, like you have to for monsters or for Doom and stuff. We were just like, all right, what's the best way to do that? What's the best way to do this? And we were able to figure it out to not impede us in the game. So like Jeff was saying, you can do almost anything in those things. You just have to figure out how it is to do those.
Yes. And it's not always obvious, and certain games can do it one way and other games can do it a different way, but
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're drawing a top card of a deck, you can like hit 1 when you're hovering over it to draw it, but you can also pick up an entire deck and you hit Alt T, and that drops a card from the bottom of the deck. And it's like, I wasn't gonna find out about that unless like happenstance, right?
yeah.
That wasn't intuitive. I had to be told, this is how you do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing in the board game front.
Right on. Well, it's good that we all finally got to play some games again during these harrowing times.
Hey, I played a game last week. All right, I've been consistent.
Yes, this is true.
It's not like I have somebody here to play games with me like you do. So really,
I mean, is Whitney not there?
She is, but she's not. She wouldn't be that type of gamer.
Yeah,
it's
Richard's right upstairs.
I mean, yes, but also, yeah,
violate all the social distancing, Zach.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, Megan, unfortunately, she had planned a bunch of other stuff she was going to do, this month and into next month. So her schedule was shifted off of mine for a little bit. So it tends to be she's off, she was off all day today while I worked a 12-hour shift. And then, I'm off all day tomorrow while she works a 12-hour shift. So we've also just not coordinated very well.
Sounds to me like one of you should quit your job, and then you will have time to play games.
Yeah, we've tried that, and it doesn't work, even if it's me who doesn't have the job, let alone her who makes more money. Plus, she's kind of important right now. There's there's a lot of people that are classified as essential workers, but really, some of those people are getting by on a technicality.
That's true.
She's actually an essential worker.
That is very true.
Auto shops are open because, if a nurse's car breaks down, they have to have somewhere to get it fixed. That's a technicality. Nobody else should really be going to the auto shop.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a lot of banter stuff. Things aren't super exciting for me here. I did play. I got N++, which is a little platformer
I love that
game. Yeah, I used to play the shit out of N+, and then N++ was $5 on Steam, and so I snagged it and very, very rapidly got the 100 deaths achievement. Other than that, I actually haven't played that much video game stuff. I finished the story mode of The Flame and the Flood, which was kind of a fun little game.
Yeah, I remember when that one came out. I played it for a little bit, but I never dug super deep into it.
Yeah. You played anything else, or just those?
That's pretty much it. Like I said, I haven't played a lot of stuff. I've been setting up Roll20. We're going to be playing D&D on Tuesday. With the group I play with Megan's friends. We're going to play an online session. And so I've been setting up stuff on Roll20 so that I can, do a cool campaign and keep them invested even though it's online, not in person.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I did watch Onward. That was a really good movie, but
I watched that as well.
I think I saw it described. It's not top tier Pixar, but it is a top-tier Pixar ending.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember it the second half, very much it increased in quality for me. I still enjoyed the first part, but when it started doing certain things, I was like, okay, now I'm more into this.
Same. Yeah. I think Megan liked it. She was awake, I think, for the whole thing, but she had just gotten off work, so she might have been awake, but she was not, fully invested.
Gotcha.
I'm on day 5 of no alcohol, which is, fine. Tomorrow, though, I will have no coffee either because I ran out of coffee. I forgot to grab it the last time I had an actual essential store run, and I was like, I don't feel like it's justified for me to go to the store just to get coffee.
Well, I mean, they're recommending everybody in Colorado wear masks now, so just wear a mask and you should be fine, man.
I do still have some actual masks left over from my trip to Japan because I got a cough in Japan. And there, if you're sick at all, you wear masks because it's common decency. And so I bought a pack of masks and I didn't use them all. So I have a couple actually.
There you go. Or you could just tie a sock to your face, or there's a bunch of ways. You're good.
Yeah. I mean, I got face masks from snowboarding. That would also probably work. They seem to be really loose on what they want you to use as face covering.
I mean, they just want your face covered is basically it.
Yeah. So, what about you guys? Anything particularly good you've streamed or video games you've played? Jeff, you were playing video games the other day.
Yeah, I downloaded OBS and started playing a little bit of Division 2. But little did I know the Division 2 has like problems streaming, so it was an extra tier of hassle to be the first thing that I ever tried streaming. Because Zach and I were playing Division 2. We picked it up back when it was like $3.
Yep.
And yeah, streaming's not hard. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience. I also had to like reinstall all my sound drivers that day, so my sound was all fucked up. I had to cut it down to like 30 frames because it was dropping like half the frames from 60 FPS.
Gotcha.
So I dropped it. I dropped the bit rate some and turned it into a 30 FPS stream, and and then it was dropping no frames. So I'll probably up the bit rate again and keep it at 30 FPS because I don't have a streaming card or anything. It's just running off my regular computer.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we played some Division 2. We got to like, well, what, 11, 12 out of 30?
That seems about right. Yeah, that seems about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
we
fun.
played it. Yeah, it's enjoyable. I like the first one, and it seems to be more of that, except in Washington instead of New York. I like how. So the first one had so many instances where it was like loading stuff, and so it would make you do. Like if you're going into your base of operations, it would take like 10 to 15 seconds to like walk through this area.
Oh yeah, when you would have to walk through the little decontamination area.
Yeah, and now it's just like, yeah, just come on in. Now you're good. Whatever.
Yeah,
it's fine.
it streams the loads really well.
Yes, it does.
And then you shoot a bunch of people.
Yes.
The Division is getting closer and closer to Borderlands, game by game.
People don't look like just a North Face catalog anymore, which is good.
No. I did make my guy look as scummy as possible. I think
Gotcha.
Does he have mutton chops and a mullet?
Yeah. I was like, is that... Yeah, that looked like Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, it's not far off. I played a little Borderlands 3 because they've got a new event going on right now where like everything is dropping a ton of legendaries. So I have a max level character that has like full legendaries now.
Nice.
Played like a day because I hadn't played since September. Ant plays it a lot still.
Yes, he does.
He and Julie?
Yeah. We're going to have to call the police on Paul for a proof of life check. Because I think he's done nothing but play Terraria for the past at least 72 hours.
That seems right, yep.
He's doing nothing but playing Terraria. So I installed Terraria, and I played some of that today. So far, I haven't gotten into past the Hell Wall, which gets you into hard mode, which unlocks like a whole, like, that's not even like 5% of the game's content. Until you get to the hard mode, and then the real Terraria begins.
Gotcha.
Then
we played World War Z.
Oh yeah, we played through all of the World War Z campaign, but there's a lot of progression. There's like 6 classes, all the weapons I have progression unlocks. Then there's a horde mode and challenge mode. We played a little bit with Thursby, but Zach and I played through the whole thing. It seems like the challenge mode and horde modes where you get like the real like currency for progression.
Yeah, that seems right.
But it's a lot like Left 4 Dead.
Yep.
It was fun.
They did a good job with hordes, because there were a lot of zombies on there at some point.
Like
and it was like the movie where they're actually like climbing on top of each other, and like you have to like you're up above them, but they're slowly like making a pyramid mound that they can climb up, and you have to like destroy that before they start coming up. Yeah,
or they'll overrun you real fast.
Exactly.
It had a lot of references to the book that I've read multiple times. That was interesting. Hearthstone's
It's a good book.
Yeah, the book's great. I love the book. Movie, not so much.
I liked the movie, just not as World War Z.
It wasn't World War Z, yeah.
It was just a zombie movie.
Correct.
Tidal wave zombies.
Yes.
Yep.
Hearthstone's got a new expansion coming out this week. I'm looking forward to that. They're adding a new class.
Oh, God.
Class.
Well, we'll have to proof of life check Jeff soon, too, then.
Man, I haven't been playing a lot of Hearthstone. They just changed the whole ranking system. But the best part is you can no longer get duplicates of any card until you have every card of that rarity. So you're not going to get 7 of the same epic card anymore, or you're going to get a full set of commons, full set of rares until they start repeating, which is so nice. And then if you get a legendary and disenchant it, you won't get it until you get the rest of the legendaries, but you can use that dust to make one that you actually want. So you don't have to sit on the legendary cards and not like be able to make the decks you want. And then Demon Hunter seems cool. It's super like attacky.
Not surprising.
Its hero power is just give you +1 attack, and then a bunch of cards that have to do with attacking, of course. I also have been watching Wrestlemania this weekend, which I have not watched any wrestling in a very long time, and it's super weird.
Because they're doing it without any fans, right?
Nope, no audience. WrestleMania is always their like massive thing every year with like 80,000 plus people, and they're doing it at their performance center in Orlando, which is like their training center, I guess. And they just have these matches with 2 people in a ring and like silence, and it's so weird. But they did something super cool yesterday. It was AJ Styles and The Undertaker. Yes, that Undertaker. He's still around.
He is still around, Jesus.
Yeah. He's only 55.
Only.
Yeah. But he's been around since, the 80s. So since all of this is pre-recorded, they had a weird match. It was called a boneyard match. Basically, they set up a graveyard and dug a grave. And the whole match was to be like, get the person in the grave and then bury them. But since it was not in a ring, it was like an episode of a TV show. It was like, and they brought back the biker Undertaker from like the early 2000s that came out to Limp Bizkit music.
Oh God.
Yeah. So that hasn't been around for like 17 years. So they brought that back. That was cool.
Okay.
Because I think that was the last time I watched wrestling, is when Undertaker was a biker. And but it was like a TV show. They had cuts. They were clearly not doing this all in one shot like you would in an actual like live wrestling match. So they're able to do a bunch of weird stuff. Like at one point, AJ Styles got the Undertaker at the bottom of the grave and was going to bury him, but then it cuts to the Undertaker standing behind him because he has unnatural powers. Yeah, it was like a 30-minute TV show wrestling match. And
interesting.
And today they had another one. It was with John Cena and this guy Bray Wyatt, who's the Fiend, and is like, I don't know, like Jigsaw sort of, but with like weird powers. And it was a funhouse match. He was making John Cena go through all of his past gimmicks and stuff over and over in this like weird match that was like all in his mind or something. It was super weird. But they can do that because there's no crowd, and they can just kind of cut however they want and just make this weird story happen.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Super weird.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. I had like, they have a streaming network or streaming thing that gives you a free month. So I was like, yeah, I'll use my free month. I'll watch the weird Wrestlemania. So I did that yesterday and drank too much. I had 5 beers yesterday.
Aw.
Yeah. Because I had picked up some beer at Strange. They had Strangely Epic, and then they did a special release of like a Super Creek, which was like an 8.5% Cherry Creek. Yeah, it tasted just more boozy Cherry Creek. And then they had like a quarantine. Oh, it was called the Strange Times. It was a barrel aged porter that they had specially canned, and they had a special label. It was a guy in a quarantine suit with like hops, like a sick hops in like tongs in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I drank too much. I was a little hungover today. Yeah. But when you had mentioned that you had not drank in 5 days, I was like, I haven't drank since like March 9th. So.
So you did about a month. See, it's the thing to do.
Yeah. Especially because my birthday is going to be right dead center in the middle of all this, so I will not be able to do anything for my birthday.
Megan and I's anniversary is in 5 days from the time of recording, so It's like, great. Let's have a romantic dinner of quarantine food.
Yes.
I can't even get her flowers or chocolates or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can order it from Amazon and just assume it'll be here at some point.
Yes, like everything
Yeah.
else.
Oh, yeah. That's about it for me for banter. I think don't have a whole lot of. It's also weird to like chit chat over Skype with also no video. I can't see your faces.
I mean, why do you need to see our faces?
It makes the banter portion more natural, like actually just sitting down to have a conversation with someone. I don't talk on the phone, okay? Which is what this is like.
Just look at the meter of the voices bouncing up and down, and that's what you need.
That's mostly what I've been watching.
Yeah.
Anyhow, Jeff, do you have Bloody Minute?
Yeah, I could talk about Blood Bowl for a hot second. I didn't play as many matches as I did last time, which I think was 20. I've only played, I think, one or two. But it's my Shambling Undead Icy Vandals team. I played 2 games. I played a game against Ants, Wood Elves, which I was not looking forward to because his Wood Elves had a plus strength War Dancer, had a bunch of skills. Thankfully, I knocked a ton of his players off the pitch on like the first lineup hits, and the ant curse continues when he's playing against me, and then he just rolls like trash, and I roll average or above average. So I got a ton of casualties on that one. I was trying to pull up the game. 5 casualties. And I was fouling the shit out of his War Dancers over and over. I think it came up as a death on one of his War Dancers, but he appoed it into just a badly hurt. I ended up winning that one 2-0. At the end of each half, he only had one dude left on the pitch.
Oh, damn.
And I killed one guy. I misnext gamed one and gave a niggling injury to another one. So he has a whole, I think, 6 players that he's playing with next match. So he just has a ton of loner linemen because his throwers miss next game, his linemen miss next game. So he's just a bunch of loners and then his absolutely amazing War Dancers that's all he needs. He needs his 2 War Dancers and a catcher. Because he can just 2+ get the fuck out on every opportunity. The next game after that, I played an Ogre team, the Parker COVID-19 Eliminators, who absolutely trashed me. I ended up winning 1-0, but I took a ton of... He did 7 casualties to me, which sucks.
Yes.
Because I have a mummy that's missed next game because he surfed it, and the crowd seriously injured, and then it missed next game, and no regen. He killed my other mummy, which was the second one that I've lost, in a both down situation, which also failed regen. Every kickoff, he broke the first turn. He broke armor 3 times and either KO'd or badly hurt all 3 of them. Got all 3 of them off the pitch in turn 1. And then in the second kickoff, he broke armor on all of them and knocked out 2 of them and then stunned 1 of them. So I was immediately down 3 players at the beginning of each kickoff, but they're slow enough that I can kind of like put the zombies on the ogres and kind of let them chew toy along. But he was just absolutely pounding me every time. I think he made 33 armor rolls. Of 33 of those, 17 broke. So that was just an immense amount of pounding me into the ground all game. But I won, so that helps. but my next game is going to be against a goblin team. So I look forward to having to fight against 2 trolls with only 1 mummy because I hired a new one. I'm missing my other mummy, so we'll see how the next game goes. But I've been enjoying fouling the shit out of people with my undead. That's The Shambling Undead is actually the team that Ant used at that Gen Con where he got the foul trophy. He wanted to foul every turn of the tournament, and did.
Nice.
So yeah, that's Fumble.
Cool. Well, that wraps up all of what we've been playing and banter and everything. So I think we're ready to move over to some news and Kickstarters.
Yes. First up in news, Cards Against Humanity has a new edition just in time for everyone to stay home with their families. The Family Edition.
Yeah. So the folks over at Cards Against Humanity just announced a free print and play public beta for the Family Edition. They had been working on it for over a year, supposedly, and they were planning to announce it in the fall, but with everything going on, they were like, well, there's a lot of people just sitting at home with their families who might want something to do, so let's release a free print and play beta of it.
There will be a physical version of this later, but right now it's just print and play.
Yep, so you can download it for free at cardsagainsthumanity.familyedition.com.
Very creative.
And it has an epically awesome FAQ. I don't really like Cards Against Humanity, like the game at all anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yes.
But they really do a great job of like branding and marketing and stuff. And this FAQ is a brilliant example of that.
And they're generally pretty cool people with their causes and donations and like voter registration. Cards Against Humanity does a lot of really cool things. I just don't want to play it anymore.
Right. But yeah, so like the FAQ has things like, is this game family friendly? Yes. That's why it's called Cards Against Humanity Family Edition. Can my kids play this? We've never met your kids, but we designed the game for people ages 8 and up. We encourage parents to look through the cards before you play and remove anything you don't like, since different kids have different sensitivities. And then what's in there? 600 poop jokes.
And that is no joke. There is just an endless amount of poop jokes in these cards.
Yeah. I like other things down there. I don't have kids. Should I download this? If you have a pure soul and a smile in your heart, yes. What happens if I download this PDF and then sell copies to people? We will legally destroy you.
Yeah. Which they've run into.
Yeah. What about other ways I could make money off this? Don't try to make money off this game. There's no legal way to use these PDFs to make money. If you're not sure, email us so our patient customer service team can tell you no.
Yes.
So they also, according to the FAQ, do not have a hot take on coronavirus. So don't ask them. Don't go to Cards Against Humanity for disease advice. I feel is a reasonable way to live your life.
So yeah, the cards are generally just poop jokes, fart jokes, no cursing or really anything like that. Just a lot of dirty kid humor. One of my favorite
Seems
cards.
about on par for their stuff.
Yeah. One of my favorite cards is chugging a gallon of milk and then vomiting a gallon of milk.
Oh.
A butt that eats underwear. And just, the usual Cards Against Humanity stuff. But if you want to play Cards Against Humanity and don't want all of the cursing...
Yeah, and they do specifically point out that it's not Cards Against Humanity with the bad stuff taken out.
Yes.
It's like a whole new decks of things.
Yep.
Or Cards Against Humanity.
Yep.
Because there isn't enough of it already.
Right. Anyhow, next up in news...
we have what Zach and I have been very much looking forward to, the announcement of the campaign box for Marvel Champions, The Rise of Red Skull.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
Yeah, so this is the latest expansion, the first campaign expansion for Marvel Champions card game, which you guys are big fans of. And it's going to be... Yes, continues Avengers. It adds 2 new heroes, Hawkeye and Spider-Woman.
Yep.
And then it adds 5 new villains, Crossbones, Absorbing Man, Taskmaster, Zola, and Red Skull, which continues their trend of having people I've never fucking heard of. I've never heard of Crossbones or Absorbing Man.
Crossbones was in the Marvel movies. He just wasn't named Crossbones.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, was he the guy at the beginning of
He's
Civil
the guy that
Civil War?
exploded.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. He was also the
And
guy in the
technically-
elevator on the
Yeah.
elevator fight.
But he wasn't Crossbones back then.
He still was. but
Oh.
Yeah.
He's the guy that technically killed Captain America, because remember when they killed Captain America with a time bullet? Yeah, that happened.
And technically, wasn't Nick Nolte's character in Hulk, the Absorbing Man, or something like that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Taskmaster is going to be in Black Widow,
Yep.
and then Red Skull's Red Skull. Zola is who's Zola?
Zola's
Zola was the
AI
main
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yep.
Yeah,
So
he
see-
put his mind into a computer.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and faked out betraying Red Skull and was or Red Skull / Hydra and was running it all along.
Yes.
That son of a bitch.
But yeah, the press release from Fantasy Flight has some more information about like the some of the different villains and the two different heroes and some of their abilities and things like that.
Spider-Woman's is interesting because she can have 2 different colors in her deck. She can be Justice and Aggression, which is what she comes with, but she doesn't have to just be monocolor like the decks are.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting change to how you can build decks.
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
and anytime she plays an aspect card from those decks, she like powers up her base stats. Like she gets a +1 to everything, and it's once per round per aspect. So having multiple aspects in her deck allows her to really boost her own power up.
Yeah, she starts at a 1 on everything, but she can get up to a 3 on everything.
Yeah.
And they had a little sneak peek of scenarios and heroes coming down the line. I had seen somewhere where people were able to match up that art to other people, but I have lost that thread. So
Yep. And then so the main thing about this whole box, besides obviously the new 2 new heroes and 5 new villains, is that it's bringing the campaign mode to this. So I'm curious to see exactly how that's gonna really work out. Because in campaign mode you just play through all 5 of the scenarios, taking each villain in turn. And you get to do choices throughout the campaign that are going to give you the chance to upgrade decks with certain cards. So
Yeah.
we'll see if it's something that actually feels worthwhile, or if it's just like I'm sure it's not going to be any sort of like Arkham Horror campaign.
no,
But I wouldn't expect it to be. But I hope it's better than what was that game? I feel like there was a game we played where it had a campaign mode, but we were playing it and it was like, this seems very stupid.
was it the Grizzled?
It might have been the Grizzled, yes.
One thing we didn't mention: the villains are going to have environments now that will add stuff onto the campaign board. So, like the Absorbing Man has a snowy hillside.
Which, well, I couldn't tell because, like, it says here, like, in marked contrast to Crossbones, Absorbing Man introduces environments. So I think that's unique to Absorbing Man.
Yeah, but
because
it's still a new.
the different environments that'll come out will, kind of determine what abilities he has.
Yes, because he absorbs them.
Yes.
Where Crossbones will have weapons and weapon attachments.
Yeah.
They didn't go too far into the other villains or anything like that. Of course, they're
No.
releasing more playmats, because of course they are.
Mhm.
I am only interested in the super large playmat to be able to, like...
The
play-
Rise of Red Skull one.
Yeah, just because it's
Yeah.
large, so you can actually just have a big playmat down for everyone
Yeah.
to use, and not just one in front of you for your hero. Arkham Horror had like a big one that they used, that they made right at the beginning when they launched, that I was like, oh, that would be interesting, and then it was
Yep.
immediately sold out and never came back.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're interested in this, you can get the Rise of Red Skull itself for $39.95, available
Sounds-
for pre-order now.
Like a decent price for as much stuff as in there, because the scenario packs are like almost 20 bucks.
Scenario packs were 20, and
Yeah.
the hero packs were 15. So yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
And you get
and
2
then
heroes
also-
and 5 scenarios, basically.
yeah.
And then the new Hawkeye and Spider-Woman game mats are $19.95 each, and that sweet Red Skull 3-foot by 3-foot mat that Jeff was talking about is $24.95.
I'm surprised it's only $5 or more. So,
Right?
Yeah.
for what looks to be a mat literally almost twice the size, if not twice the size. So
yeah, I just wish they had a like a generic Marvel Champions one, not one that was like Red Skull branded. But
yeah, that'd be kind of nice.
Whatever.
Indeed.
I mean, you can always do what like Boyd did for Arkham Horror. Is you can find an image that you want to use and then go to a game mat, a game mat printer and print it there.
Yeah, make yourself your own neoprene.
Exactly. We'll see if this if Gen Con is still a thing. I would not be surprised if this came out around then. If it isn't out before that, I would imagine there would be at least some copies available to buy there.
Yes. Yeah. So that's Rise of the Red Skull.
Well, next up on news, to Zach's question, Fantasy Flight, I think very close to that announcement, decided to announce that they're pushing back everything.
Yeah. I think actually this press release came out a couple days before that one dropped. But they basically, this is from almost a week ago, a little under, but they say that they have made the decision to push everything at least 1 month. So they've pushed.
Black Widow release was the first one that I know of that it started shipping and then they were like, nope, we're pushing everything back. So some people have it, but now you can't get it.
Yeah. They say everything's being delayed immediately through the end of April 20. That will have a cascading effect, moving everything back at least 1 month. And they're reevaluating their entire release schedule, and they'll be posting updates as they figure things out. And they also point out that these changes are going to affect just for the U.S., and that other countries are going to be kind of handled on a case-by-case basis. And so if you're in another country and have a question, talk to your retailers and distributors to learn
who have
what's
probably
going
been
on.
Told nothing anyways, so they have nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I've even heard about with Asmodee and their new return policy. It's like, ask your local store, and then the local store is like, no, they have literally said nothing to us. So,
yeah.
Wow. Years of communication.
Yeah. They do also point out that they have their full catalog of existing games is available, and they're hoping to return to regular releases in May, but we'll see.
Yeah, probably not in the U.S. because it's a shit show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's it for news.
Yes. Which moves us on to Kickstarter. First up in Kickstarters, we have They Live, Assault on Cable 54. Very well funded. 86,000 of its $39,000 goal, just about 1,200 backers, 3 weeks left to go. And you can pledge this one for its most popular pledge being $69.
Yeah, so They Live is a narrative-driven co-op game for 4 to 6 players with a stretch goal that has been unlocked for 1 to 3 player play.
They call it a blind play mode, which is basically just playing like double-handed. And
you don't know whether your players are good guys or bad guys at the start.
Yes.
So basically, I have not actually seen They Live, so feel free to correct me if I get really wrong here, Jeff, because I feel like you probably have.
It's starring Roddy Piper.
Yes.
And Keith David.
Mm-hmm.
And it has one of the best fight scenes that has ever been put to film. It's also where that South Park recreated it shot for shot in the episode where Timmy fights Jimmy. That is literally a fight from They Live.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Yep.
That's amazing. This is also the movie that originated the phrase, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yes. So the
amongst many other one-liners.
The general theme of the movie is Roddy Piper finds a pair of sunglasses that lets him see all the subliminal messaging that the aliens have put on Earth, and then he can see like all the signs that say obey or reproduce or consume, and then he can see which one people are the aliens. So that's what this game actually uses as a mechanic, this little set of glasses that you can see these cards that will give you tips and stuff on who's the bad guy or sabotaging, etc.
Yes. So it's basically another kind of hidden trader type game where you'll be either a human or an invader, And over the course of the game, the humans are trying to gather a bunch of items, weapons, and allies, and then kind of stash them in a special location, building up until they feel ready to assault the precinct, where you go through like this little series of tests to see if you have enough stuff to get all the way through. Meanwhile, the invaders are trying to like put sabotaged things, items, weapons, allies into those places, so that when the humans go to like assault it, all of a sudden all their things are sabotaged and they don't have enough to succeed at those final tests. And as the game goes along, you can use those glasses, and they came up with like a cool little glasses that you can see subliminal messaging and see like the people's player cards. You can see who is and isn't an alien or a human, and you can see what items are or aren't sabotaged. So you're trying to basically pass around control of who has the glasses at any given time, and then they're trying to identify things and then convince everybody that they're actually telling the truth about what they are saying or not saying. So
it seems interesting. Hopefully the glasses work well enough.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
They say that they've been working very closely with their production company to make sure that they actually work and are good. So
yeah,
we'll see. But yeah, and so yeah, that's why it's 4 to 6 players, is to kind of balance the amount of hidden traders, and then like we were saying, that 1 to 3 players is the blind mode, where each person will have 2 characters that they'll control, but they won't know at the start of the game whether any of them are good or bad. And then like if you ever reveal that one of them's bad, they go like into a separate pile where they now like affect the end game in kind of a negative way, so that you can still sort of play. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work, though.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Another John Carpenter movie turned into a board game. I can't complain.
Right, yeah.
Never have played the Big Trouble in Little China game. I'm sure it's on Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator, however.
I'm sure you can find it, yeah.
But yeah, so that's They Live, Assault on Cable 54.
Yeah, rulebook looks interesting to mostly complete. Yeah, I look forward to seeing the game out there.
Indeed. Go check it out.
Last up on Kickstarter this week, we have the big boy, Frosthaven, barely funded.
Just a little bit.
$6.5 million of its $500,000 goal. Over 45,000 backers, and still 3 weeks left to go. Its most popular pledge being $145.
Yeah. So Frosthaven is...
I just want to say, though, that is barely beating the Frosthaven bundle and organizer and coins for $240 by like 100 backers.
Yes. That has that has the broken token, already has an organizer for it. That comes with the broken token organizer, and now it's going to have metal coins.
Yeah. Yeah, so those 2 pledges are basically neck and neck.
Yes, for an extra $100.
Yeah. So Frosthaven is basically, it's the standalone sequel to Gloomhaven.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, so it plays basically the same as Gloomhaven did, uses the same core mechanic.
Yeah, I didn't notice
and in fact,
any core mechanic changes to this.
It seems like the biggest differences to this come in the form of you don't earn as much money because money's not as useful up here in the northern wastelands. You earn resources, and then instead of using them to buy gear specifically, you use them to craft gear / upgrade the town. And the town map is like a good chunk of it is just open spaces that you can then build buildings that you'll sticker up, and like they have different effects on your town. And during the winter season, it introduces seasons. So there's a summer season and a winter season. And during the winter season, enemies actually like assault the city. And so different buildings, and like you can upgrade walls and stuff to help with fighting off invaders during the winter season. It's going to come with 6 new starter characters and 10 new unlockables, and all of the Frosthaven characters can be played with Gloomhaven and all of its expansions, and all of Gloomhaven and its expansions characters can be played in Frosthaven. So they're fully compatible with each other.
Yep.
If you are into that sort of thing. But otherwise, yeah, it uses that same kind of monster
initiative.
card deck initiative thing. It uses the same. Your card decks are the same. So there's the no randomness and things like that. That you're in charge of how your things play.
Yep.
More or less.
It's going to have another new set of solo scenarios with gear unlocks for certain classes.
Yep.
They're going to have the removable sticker sets for Frosthaven. One new thing is the foreteller narration app. So I guess all of the apps are going to have an actual audio narration for the campaign through this app now.
Yes. Yeah, they partnered with some company to do that with professional voice actors.
Foreteller is the name of.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. But $15 for that. That seems like a lot for just some audio narration, but I guess it is over 100 scenarios.
Yeah.
You can also get access to early access on Steam to the PC app that's coming out for $18.
Yeah,
which that game's going to cost $25 when it comes out.
Because the Gloomhaven one's already out as early access right now. Yeah, that's which you can get, but it's
early access.
It is very. I don't even think you can do multiplayer on it yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their updates have been going on that.
Yeah, me neither. They have a shit ton of add-ons. If you missed out on regular Gloomhaven, you can get it and all of its stuff.
And I don't know if you saw this on the bottom, but unsurprisingly, shipping's not included, right? So that's going to be if you order it, it'll be $28 to ship.
Yes.
Oh wow.
There's also taxes that you're going to have to pay too. Those are not included in the prices as well. So it's in certain places like California, Indiana, Michigan, you will pay taxes. Or if you're in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or UK. So UK is an additional 20% taxes on this. So
this game is going to be extremely expensive for some people.
Yes.
There's going to be some sticker shock after that original pledge, I think.
Exactly, yeah.
I think Tabletop Simulator has a version of Frosthaven on it right now.
It does. You can do. It has all 6 of the base characters and then 3 demos that you can try.
Yep, 3 scenarios.
Yeah. Oh man.
But it's going to be it's pretty pricey.
Yeah.
I'm on the boat of I'm going to wait until I actually complete Gloomhaven before I even give a shit about getting Frosthaven.
Understandable.
And we're only a quarter to 15% of the way through one campaign.
If that, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. See, I'm thinking about maybe getting Frosthaven because I think the same group I play D&D with would probably like something like this. And when we're done with our D&D campaign, we could move to something like this.
Just know that it's basically like D&D, but it only for from the combat side in that sense.
Yeah,
that
makes
sense.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah, but the group doesn't do a lot of role playing anyway.
Okay.
So
perfect. Yeah.
Yes, I have at least played Gloomhaven. I am aware of how it kind of vaguely goes. So
okay.
So I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm having weird FOMO about Frosthaven.
But nothing in this is going to be
again.
Unavailable. All of this stuff is going to be freely available and probably for cheaper after it comes out.
Because you're basically looking at 145. What is the? Oh no, that's a solo. Okay, so it's 100 plus 28 for the shipping, and then so that's $130 right now.
Oh yeah, it's pricey.
Yeah. And I mean, even Gloomhaven I've seen for $80 on sale every once in a while.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can also just do the $1 pledge access and then see if you want to just pay it later or just wait or whatever.
Yeah. Indeed. Plenty of options.
The only thing I'm even interested in is the metal coins because those are cool.
Yeah.
But I guess Frosthaven has $160 MSRP, where Gloomhaven was $140 MSRP.
Yeah, and it looks like there's more stuff to do in like he was saying with the building.
Yeah,
and then also there's puzzles in here too. Now it looks like so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the content seems pretty cool. I am most interested in the city building aspect, like making.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah, that's definitely something that really appeals to me about it. I might be worth it to try and get a hold of like Black and Red, because I know they do Kickstarter pledges a lot, and see like if they're going to do a retailer pledge and just get in on an early copy of that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to lock this copy down for myself.
But
with your retailer pledge.
But Gloomhaven has been regularly available for around $100.
Yeah, which is what they're selling Gloomhaven for through this Kickstarter,
Yeah.
plus shipping and potentially taxes.
Yeah. But usually places that are selling it for $100 also have free shipping on.
Yep.
So you're saving like
Yes.
$20+ by just waiting. But these 45,000 people are like, no. This is only right now. It's only day 6 of this month-long Kickstarter. So
Yeah. People are going to get jobs back and be like, holy shit.
I've seen 1 or 2 people complaining about people spending their money on Frosthaven right now. And
Oh, yeah. Some
I saw
asshole
that.
went off on Twitter
Yeah.
like a fucking idiot. Ugh.
like, why are people
That guy
spending
was being a
millions of
real jerk.
dollars? Well, it's the sequel to the #1 game on BGG of all time, and it has a literally epic amount of content in it.
Yeah. The one guy I saw really going off about it was like, oh, imagine like how useful that $6.5 million could be if it was being used to fight COVID. And it's like, really pretty much be a drop in the bucket compared to the money that's being thrown at COVID right now.
Yeah.
So let people get something to distract them and
In a year
give them some
from
little bit
now.
of enjoyment. Like, yeah.
But yeah,
So,
the Frosthaven.
yeah, go check it out. Euro-inspired dungeon crawl.
See the numbers go up.
Just constantly ticking up.
Yes, like even just like me clicking to the tab a couple times, the numbers just keep going up. It's still going up as we speak.
Yeah. That wraps up news and Kickstarter, though.
Yes.
So, all done with that. Over in listener feedback, no new emails.
No new emails, which are emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Indeed, they are. The only bit of listener feedback we really had was from Paulo over on YouTube, where he says, "Good to see you guys back. I'm pretty excited for Lawyer Up, backing that one. Stay safe, everyone." So, yeah, you too, Paulo.
Yes. You're probably safer there than you are here.
I don't know. Spain was having some major issues, and Portugal is like, right there.
Yeah.
But
it's no U.S.
true. We're number 1
Hooray.
at doing terrible of handling COVID.
Yep.
But yeah, if you want to get a hold of us, there are multiple ways for you to do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have our Instagram account, instagram.com/MHGameGuys, facebook.com/MHGameGuys, our website, milehighgameguys.com, which also has, in addition to links to the news and Kickstarter items we talk about, links to things like our Slack channel and our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731. And then at some point, we will be getting back to streaming over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MHGameGuys, where you can watch us play games and stuff.
Yeah. Soon to be digitally playing games.
Yes. And maybe figuring out, I tried to have it set up to auto-host Jeff when he streams video games, but it didn't seem to work last time. So we'll see if it works next time he streams something.
Yeah, the whole 20 minutes I spent trying to get it working, worked for a little bit. So.
Yeah, those are all the different ways to get a hold of us. As always, we would like to take some time to again thank our awesome sponsors, Gray Fox Games. Their latest Kickstarter that is arriving now to backers, Zoned Out. You can pre-order on their website and build up a city with cool little different colored kind of translucent blocks and things with zoning districts. So it's not quite architecture, so we can't make fun of Wes with it, but you can do a board game form of the wide world of zoning agreements.
And then they'll have a new Kickstarter launching this week for science. So we will be talking about that one next week.
Yes. Yeah. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement regarding our sponsors?
Of course. Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, you're running low on anger.
I assure you I'm not. I am basically full of it. Yeah, at all times. That wraps everything up. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Yeah, we'll be back in a week with another episode to keep you guys entertained through all of this staying at home and doing a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Bloody Jeff.
Bye.
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 Punchboard Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.